I'm going to do a little video today on which pole is the best to use. Now, I've got 3 different poles here. 3 different lengths, 3 different weights. This one's about 5 pounds. This is a Purple Heart pole, about 8 feet long, and famously crafted by Raven Studios. Excellent job. I've got a white wax pole, and this is about 7 feet long, 7.5, and weighs probably about 3 to 3¼ pounds. And then I've just got a maple pole, and it's about 6 feet tall, and this weighs about a 1.5 pounds. So, when you're doing pole training, a lot of times people think, oh, I have to use the heavier, longer pole. Now, when we're talking about application, yes, distance is a huge factor when thinking about, oh, what weapon to use. When we talk about development, right? Development is understanding how to take coordination and make it controllable by you. So when we talk about just regular hand coordination, yeah, obviously I'm learning to do everything to keep my arms within this triangle, and then ultimately have my body do everything behind that, and have my legs support all that. So now when we have something in our hands, we're taking it that level of coordination even higher. So that when I have the pole in my hand, and I'm doing whatever motion with the pole, that I have the coordination, arm, body, leg, pole, all working together as one single structure. So when you do that, you have to think, how am I actually able to control myself, to control the pole, which allows that coordination to happen. And when doing that, you want to use actually not this pole, because this is a heavier pole, but you actually, especially in the beginning, should use the lighter pole. Because now when I have this in my hand and I'm doing whatever coordination that I'm doing for development-wise, I'm now able to better control this. Why? Because I'm now using less muscle. The less muscle you use to control the pole means that now I can focus on the relaxation of that, which allows me to better naturally control it. Think about it. When you do anything and you're relaxed, you'll just naturally do it better. When you're exercising, when you're joking around with your friends, if you're not tight mentally, physically, you can allow the natural process of you to come out, to happen. And that's ultimately what you want to have happen when you have the pole in your hand. That I have the coordination to make everything go naturally. So when I'm using the heavier pole, it's actually harder to develop that idea of coordination. Now people ask sometimes, like, oh, well, what about doing some type of, strengthening exercises with the pole? Well, again, if you've talked to anybody who's played sports on anything above even like a high school level, or even like a high school level, they probably talk about it too, that there's a big difference in developing the skill of what you're doing, which skill translates to me as body control, versus the strength training or cardiovascular training that you're doing. That because as you're doing strength training and your muscles are fatiguing, the first thing you'll lose is not power. The first thing you lose actually is fine motor control. And in Wing Chun, that's exactly what we want to develop. We want to develop that fine motor control. So I'm not trying to think like, oh, I'm going to strength train with this, and try to make my muscles stronger. No, I want to develop the control, the coordination, so that when I do whatever motion that I'm doing, I have not just my arms doing the motion, but now from here, my body's leading the motion. Just like I'm throwing the ball. I'm throwing the ball, I use my body to throw the ball. I don't want to just throw my arms. When I have the pole, and I'm here, I want to come in, I want to have my body throw the pole, and have my arms work in a coordinated fashion, so that my body is always pushing behind it. Now, as you develop, yes, you can use a little bit heavier pole, but you don't want to use such a heavy pole where now I'm here, and if I do, a Kwon thrust, oh, I'm straining right here to hold that motion up. You know, that's why you've got to learn to balance the pole out to understand the musculature and how that's relating. That's why when they do Kwon, you know, I don't want to do Kwon right here. Why? Because I'm holding the pole too high. Now I'm not balancing out from my arms. My shoulders are too high right here. So what I want my shoulders to relax. And see, now I can hold it here. Now I'm balancing the pole out better when I do the Kwon thrust. So as you're doing the form, remember, it's actually better in the beginning to use the lighter pole. Now I can control the pole easier because I'm using less muscle. And that's how you want to develop it. All right, good luck.